everybody. So I got a comment recently that was about, gosh, I really want to start my business. I know that I have the idea, I have the commitment to do so, but how do I even fund this? Like, are there grants? I need to keep income coming into my family in order to stay alive, but at the same time, I'm in this startup phase. How exactly does this work? And I can imagine completely how much this is in the minds of the moms who are motivated, who want to start a business. And honestly, even if they come to the fact that, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to do this, I have the right idea, even I've done early validation, how in the world am I going to fund this though? It absolutely can stand in your way. And I know it's actually one of the biggest blockers, because so much of what we imagine about running a business, starting business in and of itself is surrounding money. And we know that money breeds more money. And how in the world are you going to do this if you don't even have a base of money to start with? So I completely understand. And I actually want to debunk this. So instead of just, only directly answering the question, are there grants for this? Which the answer is yes, to kind of fast forward there. I want to take a step back and actually look at a whole, how to even think about starting a business when you have no money to work with. And in addition to that, because my lane here is really thinking through how to do this and the feasibility of this as a mom, which is presenting a ton of nuances to this journey, I also want to understand how you can build a business with no money, but also no time, right? Where you don't have endless 24-hour days to eat top ramen and only work in front of your computer day and night to code up something and then test it, or sew the designs that you want to get out, or really hone in on a certain project or skill or something where you just simply don't have the time in your day, any day, in order to do this, and how you can actually still get this going. I know that there are so many blockers to get started and think about how you're going to run this when you are a mom, but there absolutely are ways where this can happen, right? I'm living proof, having built a multi-million-dollar business as a mom, after becoming a mom while pregnant, raised millions of dollars in funding, no product with not even traction, just a strong conviction and validation for the market that I wanted to hit, the answer that I wanted to provide to solve the biggest problem that they had. And whether it's a tech company or a yoga studio or a cupcake factory or a construction business or whatever kind of business that you want to start, there absolutely is a formula, tried and true, to think about how you can do this most effectively without not even breaking the bank, without having a bank in order to work with to make this happen for you, right? And how you can also do that while not having to have the luxury of pouring every single ounce of your energy into this exactly, but instead focusing only on what matters, right? And so I want to talk about both of those things inspired by this comment to really see how to start a business with no money and no time. So to tackle both having no money and no time, and how you can optimize your strategy to get your business off the ground in an effective way that puts it on a trajectory to be a multi-million-dollar business, again, comes down to 3 steps that I want to walk you through to really get this done in the best way possible. The first step is completely unpacking what the problems are within the area that you want to tackle, and then from there, developing a solution to hit that, right? And I cannot stress enough how much of a difference maker it is when a business, a product, a service talks to their customers first before they build out an elaborate plan. And those who instead say, well, you know what, because I'm an expert in this space, I know exactly what's needed here, and I've, tried this myself, or I've had this issue myself, and I know how I want to solve this. This is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to build it, and the world will come, right? That's something that so many entrepreneurs and business owners or product leaders, fall into, thinking that they have the answer because of their experience and the expertise to do so, or they'll gain the expertise to do so, put something out, cross their fingers and say, gosh, I know this is what it is. But really, the answer of what will hit the best with your customers lies only in your customers and not you. And understanding the humility there that comes with foregoing your own assumptions of what you think might work within this arena, and instead saying, I'm going to give the microphone to my customers, the people who I think might actually have an issue here, find out how real the issue is, how deep the issue is, how much they come out of their seat when talking about it, or if it's really just maybe something that's a little bit annoying sometimes. And from there, you will really understand, hey, I thought that this would actually be where a lot of people were worried about, but in fact, they're seeming to be more frustrated or more animated when they talk about this. It might actually be worth it for me to start diving into ways that I can solve things within that area, right? And once you do this, you will reveal an endless roadmap of the way that you can build your business step by step by step. And the key is to make sure that you recognize how much this will have to come within steps. As soon as you start this initial step where you go to your prospective customers and you start asking them questions about how they're feeling, you will say, go to like my business fans and understand what their biggest frustrations are, right? Or you will go to small businesses and say, where are you feeling pain points in your payroll services, right? Or you will go to people who are trying to lose weight and don't really know how to, and understand that if you build a coaching business around this, how you can actually hit what is really the problem that they're facing as a blocker, rather than what is typically out there or what other people are tending to serve. Where is the open gap there? And once you start asking people why they're feeling a frustration somewhere, why they find that as the hardest point in their kind of A to Z journey that you ask them to reveal to you, or why is it that of all the kinds of things that you would want here as a solution, it's that one that's at the top, right? And please pay less attention to what the actual answers are that they give, even proactively around suggesting a solution. Of course, because this is a problem for a lot of people, they've thought about, gosh, if only I can have a tool that does this. You instead take that as input to say how passionate they are about solving it, and ask them why it is that proposed solution is what they want. From there, you will have a completely rich, again, long-term data set of issues that you can continuously tackle within your business. And what's even better is just from a handful, and when I say handful, I mean 5 to 7 people that you can talk to that are in the space that you think may have the frustrations that you are looking to solve. And if you just have those, 5 to 7 hours of time that is dedicated to, it will truly reveal multiple years of solutions that you can build a mega business around. And where the time saving really comes in, beyond just the process of talking to people and getting the most efficient data back, is also that you will also see very clearly what are bigger problems than others, right? Again, you will see it in the way they talk, how they position it, how much they lean into that issue, or even the length of the eye roll. You will see it, and it will allow you to prioritize and focus on what is first. And this brings us to number 2. The second step is to start unpacking and revealing all of the raw data that you gathered from talking to your prospective clients and looking at what you have on the table, right? You'll be able to see, okay, these were clearly bigger problems, or these were huge problems and they're actually super heavy to solve, or yeah, people were really concerned about this, and if I just do X, Y, and Z, it seems to solve it, but it's just nobody has tapped into that yet. And side note, there are a lot of opportunities you're going to discover that you're going to wonder why in the world nobody has solved them yet, and even get discouraged sometimes thinking, well, there's gotta be somebody who's tackled this if this is such a clear issue for everybody. You will be surprised. That is a huge learning that I have had within entrepreneurship, that things that seem obvious to you as a solution to have are still opportunities that you can build yourself in order to solve for the world. And the fact that you think it is so obvious that this should have been solved already is an excellent sign to show that you are the right person to do it, because your version of the world expects a solution like this, and it's up to you in this grand universe we have, where we're all trying to contribute something to make meaning here, to solve that pocket of that part of the world for us to all benefit from. So maybe just a tidbit there, if you start thinking, gosh, am I really gonna be the one to do this, or somebody 10 times smarter than me is gonna solve this? No, we're waiting for you to do it, all right? So once you figure out where the biggest pain points are, maybe some of the easiest places to start within that, you will have a clear set of maybe 3 or 4 or 5 ideas that you can maybe take back to a couple of close people that you ended up engaging with within your interviews and say, okay, you know what, if I focus squarely on this, right, among everything you said and what we heard from everybody else, and if I tackle it in this way that I'm really thinking could solve things here, would this be something that you would be interested in, that you would think would be valuable for you to spend more time engaging in, or buy as a service, or want right now? And this is, again, another crucial moment where people will go from, yeah, that would be super cool, thank you, to, okay, if you have this, can I purchase it right now, right? And anywhere in between. And that difference of the soft yes versus the definite yes is your gauge of if you're choosing the right thing among that short list of ideas that you had. And so this, again, will be a very big shortcut to understand where you should specifically start of this entire world that you know that you want to tackle, the multi-year roadmap that you've built and earned from your prospective customers telling you what they want. You are going to pick one thing very specifically to start with first. Again, as an example from my own world, when I wanted to tackle and solve the biggest needs of fans across the world, I instead started with one fandom within the music vertical, specifically to the kinds of fans that can't afford to go to a concert, and solved the ticketing frustration that they particularly have to prioritize deserving fans first. That is extremely specific within a large scope of solutions that I have in mind, but I need to start there first to start gaining the momentum, proving our solution, iterating with it along the way so that when we do scale to a bunch more fandoms, to a bunch more verticals, and really tackle and take over the world here, we have already built a muscle of how to do this well, starting on a dedicated, passionate set of people first. If you want to start that yoga studio and you eventually have dreams that people would benefit so greatly from, an immersive week at a destination, a way where you can throw a retreat for moms to come and unwind and really recenter, you may actually start with a program where you are doing yoga for kids at home over Zoom. And you say, hey, you and your kids can join me in a session where we do a couple moves, we recenter. You don't have to worry about where your kids are or whether they're gonna mess up your Zen. We do it as a family together, and I do it only virtually, right? That is a definite place to start to hit a need of your customer who may be feeling frustrated that they can't fit in this, wellness and meditation or well-being or fitness in a way that is effective in their schedule to support their families. But instead you say, we will do this in a way where you can still get that done. That is squarely solving the biggest frustration that they had, but it doesn't only jump to the elaborate week-long island vacation that people will have to take, but instead say, let me dial in for a 30-minute Zoom, right? And it will change their life already then, and imagine when you continue to build out that program. But recognizing that small place, that small humble place of a Zoom call with you and your kids over a blurry video can be the starting point for a huge vision that you have is a very critical piece to realize that this business that you want to start is something that starts with a step 0.001, right? That you can do. And from there, you will gain people who can trust you. You understand more about their needs. You try it in practice and see how you feel about it. And you'll cut out so much time wasted of planning and doing all of this just to find out that actually what people really want is, this other thing that you find along the way in working with them in the wild. So I'm very kind of passionate about this first point because I want to make sure that it's clear of what value there is in talking to customers first and using that as the guidance of what specific piece you prioritize as the thing you will test first, right? And how to test that is the third piece. So the third piece is understanding how you will actually run these tests early when you have that specific concept that you want to test with a specific type of person and a specific problem. There are so many ways to do this. And of course, it depends on the business. But in 2023, nowadays, we absolutely have an endless amount of ways that we can validate any kind of business you can think of, right? This yoga retreat I'm talking about, again, I named the tool in the description. You've set up a Zoom account within minutes, right? And you have the infrastructure for what you need. If you want to start a cupcake factory and you say, gosh, I'm gonna have to have rent, or I'm going to have to get a facility where I have a big enough kitchen and God, I don't have the time to set all of this up and this is blocking my dream. No. You use your own kitchen and you set up a Shopify store and you create a landing page that they have a ton of templates for that will allow you to say, hey, I'm Becky and I'm selling my, Becky's cupcake, birthday surprises that specifically deliver amazing birthday cupcakes to children, right? And you start there and you go down the path to market specifically to that group, all off of this landing page that will take you one day to put up. You have your business and you have your infrastructure in your kitchen to figure it out. And once these kinds of things get rolling, whether again, it's something within food or a service that you do super lightly or a tech company that you don't have the engineers or the coding background to start, but you instead use something like Bubble and do a low code or no code solution to whip up something that you can test and put in front of people and see where they're clicking around and see if they actually ignore this page or if they actually say, gosh, I want the value delivered to me faster. You can be testing all of this through all of these kinds of tools immediately, okay? The world is our oyster right now. There are so many ways to overcome the perceived burden of starting a business and really prioritizing yourself in your life. These 3 steps are really all it takes for you to get started. And you can see the importance very clearly of starting first with understanding deeply where you're going to start with your customers directly. Honing in on a solution that you want to propose back to them and making sure it's specific enough where you can start small and then grow from there. And then saying, let me whip up something through all of these tools that we have at our disposal to build this, get something that somebody can know that this thing exists, and then distribute that to test. And you have your business. These alone will allow you to unlock the different scenarios that make any grant application be something that people light their eyes up because you've already validated and been gaining momentum in the wild already. That's incredible. It's the same for an investor. If they see that you have already gone out and figured this out and been talking to this and you have this prototype out and people are testing and using your solution, that is the proof that they need in order to fund you with millions of dollars. If you go out and you say, I'm going to just do a couple services online, you will start gaining revenue from your clients in order to fund bigger and bigger operations, right? And so this is not only the most effective way to reach that revenue point where you can then start living off of your own business, but a time saver in and of itself by making sure that you start small, you start specific, and you know exactly where you're delivering in a very light way to get started, all right? So I hope that this helps debunk a lot of the confusion that you may have had here to think, gosh, can I really get started? I don't know how, but instead say, I have everything I need in order to do so, all right? And I wanna see examples of this. If you are going through this journey yourself, please comment below with where you've gotten stuck in the process, or if this has made you realize, you know what, I actually can do it, or if there's still something lingering that you say, Jacquelle, what do you mean? I have this issue, can you address this? And I'm happy to unpack it and get more of us to live the life we deserve, all right? So thank you so much. I will talk to you soon and have a wonderful day. Bye.